Hi, welcome to the workshop. Today we are looking at Accurascale's brand new Class 89 Coco Electrics. Now Mike, there was only one of these.
There was indeed, but there are 5 models now available from Accurascale and Rails of Sheffield.
Well, they do look incredible, and having seen the real thing at the greatest gathering at the beginning of August 2025, I can honestly say this looks exactly like what we saw.
It certainly does. I mean, this is essentially the electric loco that never was, in a way. So there was only ever one Class 89 that was built. It was built in the mid-1980s by Brush Traction to fill, at the time, a considered need for a powerful AC electric locomotive to work on a mixture of passenger and freight operations.
So why was there only actually one of them then?
So by the time they'd actually completed the locomotive, BR had already decided that for the West Coast main line it was going to follow the Class 90 route and go for the Bobo AC electrics there. And on the East Coast main line, it decided on the fixed formation passenger formations for the Class 91 to the Mark IV trains. So there wasn't really a need for this type of locomotive in its exact form on the British Railway network.
And yet there's 5 variations, so it must have done quite a bit of work in its career.
Yeah, so it's actually had quite an interesting career, really. I mean, it started out in the Intercity Executive Livery when it was first built in the mid-1980s, and during that period it was seen on both the West Coast and the East Coast main line. So it had its first trials running on the West Coast, because at the time there wasn't really much electrification on the East Coast for it to run with, which is a minor problem when you're testing an electric locomotive.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah. So it did its first trials on the West Coast, then it moved across to the East Coast where it still retained this original colour scheme. And it started then working on Peterborough to London King's Cross turns after it had completed all its testing. After a few years later, it went into the Intercity Swallow livery, and then again it was seen with things like this charter train rate we've had the locomotive running on, and on the same Peterborough King's Cross workings. Then it soon then disappeared from service, and it was hidden away for a little while. And at that point then, actually, there was a preservation attempt for it, but actually it was brought back by Brush Traction and put back into full working order to go into traffic with Great North Eastern Railway at the beginning of privatisation. And it then had a nice few years operating on the East Coast main line, running mainly on the Bradford, Leeds, London King's Cross turns, where again it carried 2 different colour schemes then, one with GNER lettering in gold and one with GNER lettering in silver. So even more choices there.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look, it is a very unique locomotive, and as you say, a bit of a shame that the class never actually eventuated more than one, but at least we've got it here in model form, which is fantastic to see. Let's talk about the features of the locomotive, though. What have Accurascale put into this? Okay,
so this is again, like many of their locos, a very feature-rich locomotive. There's lots of things going off with the model. For starters, you've got a full suite of working lights on it. So you've got a choice of day and night modes for your headlights. You can switch those using a DCC decoder or the little switches inside if you're working with analog control. Mm-hmm. It's also got switchable tail lights as well, so you can turn those off when you're in train mode. You couple it up to your train. And quite neatly inside the cab, you've also got control desk lights and cab illumination as well on 2 separate functions. So a really nice collection of lighting features within it. And then for DCC users, you've also got a fully powered working servo-powered pantograph, which allows that pantograph to raise and lower. Now, it doesn't pick up electricity from the overhead wires, but it does at least raise and lower, and it is sprung as well, so you can follow a tensioned catenary system as well.
Now, speaking about the pantograph, we actually have found something that's not printed in the function buttons that's probably important to talk about.
It is, yes. So there is a small missing piece in the function list that went into the boxes, as far as we can see. We'll stand to be corrected if we are wrong with that, but it has an electrical lock on it, so you can lock the pantograph down electrically so that it won't raise when you turn the sound on. So in its standard modes, it comes out of the box. If you bought a DCC sound fed one, you put it on the track, you press function 1, at that point the sound comes on and the pantograph will raise. Mm-hmm. Now you can lock the pantograph electrically down by selecting function 27 first before you turn the locomotive sound on. And then once you've selected function 27, then press function 1. Now the sound will come on, but the pantograph will stay down, because we can't be alone in being the only ones who don't have an overhead system all the time, which can contain the pantograph. If we'd left the pantograph up on this layout, it would
get knocked off on the bridge.
It'd no longer be attached, would it? So.
No.
We love a limited edition, and here at Key Model we're partnering with leading manufacturers to create bespoke double-O gauge locomotives for steam and diesel era modelers. In stock now, we've got Helgium Class 47s in Portruck livery, Hornbury Cross Country HST power cars, and Bachmann Class 40s in large logo blue. Plus, you can also pre-order our new collection of limited editions for release during 2025 and 2026, including Colas Rail livered HST power cars by Hornby, a Clark Railworks WD210 in LMR 1960s era blue, and a Cavalex Models Class 56 versus 56103 in DC Rail Grey. Visit keymodelworld.com/shop to check out the full collection.
And as far as the sound profile goes, have Accurascale actually captured the Class 89, or have they just given a generic sound?
For me, it gives it a nice quality sound of an AC electric. I mean, they've got a lot of traction motor blowers and all that kind of thing going off inside one of these locomotives. It's a nice sound profile to operate with. It gives you acceleration sound, deceleration sounds. It's got the big Accurus Thrash speaker inside as well, and that's all played through a lock sound 21-pin V5 decoder as well, so plenty of capability in that decoder.
Lovely. And of course, importantly, what have they got driving the model?
Well, that's the good bit, isn't it? So you've got a 5-pole motor in the middle, twin flywheels, all-wheel drive, and plenty of power in these. We had it running around on a 15-coach train at one point when we were testing the haulage capacity of the loco, so plenty to handle any situation you're going to throw at it. And quite interestingly, when it was operating on the Peterborough King's Cross turns initially, the train formations were quite mixed. They had a whole selection of different liveries in those trains. You had BR Blue Stock, you had Intercity Executive, you had some Intercity Swallow coming in as well. So it was that period where you had that kind of real crossover of different colour schemes at the beginning of that period there. And then fast forward to the GNER period, it was then always operating with Mark IV stock, so it'd be an 8-coach set of Mark IVs with the driving van trailer at the rear. Like I say, it was a regular on those Bradford, Leeds, London turns.
Well, there's obviously a lot of variation there. Yeah. Now, importantly, when are these available to purchase and how much are they selling for?
So they are in stock right now, and they are in short supply as far as I understand it right now, but they're available exclusively through Accurascale and Rails of Sheffield, and the prices are £229.95 for the DCC ready version and £329.95 for the DCC sound versions.
Well, if you are a fan of the Class 89 or just electrics in general, then the new offering here from Accurascale could very well be for you, and you can read a full review of these models in HM220, our October edition of Hornby magazine.
That's right, you can also read a full class history about the Class 89 grid, all the detail of its life and times in BR and privatisation and now preservation era history, and also you can read more online as well, online at keymodelworld.com. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.